I love Naples. I love Collier County. And over the course of my many years here, I've had the incredible experience to understand what makes us the best place in America to live. And let me tell you, it's not just our beaches. Far from it, actually. It's our people, and it's our partnerships. And none of it's happened by accident. I've seen it time and time again. The more people learn about what's happening in our community, the more they come to the realization, this is not happening where I come from. Collier is special. Collier is unique. That's why I'm bringing you Community Matters. Think of this as your Collier County 101. I'm your guide, introducing you to the people and the resources that I think that you should know through short, real conversations so that you feel more empowered and ready to engage in ways that will positively impact your life, your family, your careers, and this beautiful place that we get to call home. Because community matters. Hello and welcome to Community Matters. I'm Amanda Pearson. Today I am excited to chat with Chief Eloy Ricardo of the North Collier Fire Rescue. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I'm so happy to have you here today. I'd love to start with just a brief introduction of who you are so people can get to know you a little bit better. As Fire Chief, you direct the North Collier Fire Rescue's all-hazard response efforts. You're committed to service-first philosophy that guides all aspects of your personal and professional life to provide the highest level of service to this amazing community of ours. But you began your career in 2001 as a firefighter, which then you propelled through the ranks to things like lieutenant, inspector, assistant chief, and now, of course, chief. Hailing originally from New York, and then Miami, since your youth, you have more than 2 decades of experience as a public servant. And it expands well beyond the confines of North Collier Fire with various state and national association involvement, including the nomination of your peers to serve as the district vice president for the Florida Professional Firefighters Association for more than 13 years. So understanding the importance of your community, you volunteered as a coach at Gulf Coast High School since 2011. And through this, you created the Helmet to Heroes program that mentors area high school students that are interested in EMS or law enforcement, where they can realize their careers as first responders, which is amazing. And then beyond the Naples community, your volunteerism has also included Florida International Volunteer Corps trip to Nicaragua to teach locals firefighting. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a good experience.
And I'm sure some of that involved with some of your sons as well, right? Coaching and things like that.
Well, that was more of a program based through FIU, and really it was a great experience to go over to Nicaragua. They had been donated fire apparatus and equipment, and it was to teach them how to translate it and then how to use it. But it was a eye-opening and a very humbling experience.
I love it. And thank you for all of that, work that you're doing for our community, even just as a volunteer, let alone the work that you do every day, of course. So today we're going to dive a little more deeply into the intricate systems of our local fire systems and emergency response, which I think is more complicated than people probably realize. But I first want to start with some data to help people understand this painted picture of fire rescue and emergency response in Collier County. North Collier Fire specifically, who do you serve? Approximately how many calls and responses do you have annually? And what exactly are you responding to? Is it just fires?
Well, Amanda, it's like the North Collier Fire Rescue District consists of 270 plus square miles. It's the northern part of Collier County, but truly we serve everybody because of our regional approach to closest unit response and the appropriate response, no matter what fire truck. We're one family when it comes to the response. When it comes to the call volume, our call volume is scoring around 30,000 a year. Last year, 2025 ended with 27, but thank God, knock on wood, there was no hurricanes for the first time. So, but again, we're always there to respond. Our volume and our calls, I can't predict what calls we are. It's not only fire, but because all hazards means all hazards. It could be from the cat in the tree that kids read in a book when about firefighters, and it could be a plane crashing on I-75.
Mm.
It's just our professional team is ready to respond at whatever emergency the public and the community needs.
Speaking of one family and in partnerships, if could you kind of build a little more on that? Let's say, um, well, often in emergencies, I've noticed that you'll have fire, EMS, and the sheriff's office responding. Why is that?
So the dispatch system and the way we work as one unit or one team going, the sheriff obviously is quicker on the squad cars. They may see a call, and remember, there's AEDs, there's medical calls, so they'll respond and they'll be able to, if they get there first, just give us more information. EMS provides the medical transport, which they'll come for the medical response. And of course, the fire truck that could do the EMS response, could do the tactical response. It could do both, but that's why it's unique. Now, it doesn't matter what line district or where we're going because it's all technology. It's automatic. As soon as you call, whatever closest unit is it picks up, it dispatches it to it.
Got it. Understand. And we've discussed you specifically lead the North Collier Fire
Yes.
Rescue, which I wanted to talk a little bit more, help educate our listeners on how our county is set up with fire districts and what is a fire district, how's that set up, how is it funded, all of that.
So the fire districts in Collier County, right now there's 3 fire districts in unincorporated Collier County, and the 2 cities obviously have their own fire department, City of Naples and City of Marco. But North Collier Fire Rescue is the independent district in Mockley, and so is Greater Naples. We all work under our enabling acts and our different boards, obviously, but that's the really is created by statute. And if you asked me how it happened a long time ago. Originally, 1961, the North Naples Civic Association at that time decided, or Pine Ridge really Civic Association decided we wanted our own fire department, and that's how North Naples was born at that time. Eventually, through mergers and things, that's where the birth of North Collier Fire Rescue has happened. And some other areas, there might be more cities, but in this area, that's how we're built up.
So how does that work with fire commissioners? So I think about other emergency response like EMS, Sheriff's Office, Naples City of Naples Police Department, right? Their own municipality. They don't have commissioners that are elected, I believe. So what makes a fire district such that you have elected fire commissioners, and who are they? Not specifically their names, but what are fire commissioners? What do they do? Why
So,
are they there?
so in the sheriffs and they do have a board. They have the board of county commissioners or the city council.
Right.
This is an independent in the fire districts. You have your independent board, and it's specifically for fire. Which again, the government closest to the people, more accessibility. It's easier to function, and it's specifically for fire rescue. So that's basically that's how we're funding. We're funded on the same way of property value and millage rates, but the same as everyone else that provides a service in any public forum.
Got it. I think you have a pretty interesting story from what I've been able to pick up on how you got into this field. So I'd love to know a little bit more about how you got into this field and why do you think others do as well?
So funny that for me it was a bet. It was just a bet between high school friends after high school graduating, and 2 of my friends that grew up with me, the twin brothers, they were going to fire academy, and I was doing jokes and playing around and said, "Hey, if you guys become firefighters, my best friend tapped him in the shoulder, said, I'll take him and I'll join the next day if you guys could become firefighters." 7 months later, they passed. And I think my work ethic, I think my family and the way I was raised, and I kept my word. I didn't really have anywhere else to go. I had no firefighters in my family. I'm the first generation firefighter. I just felt, but when I got in, it was the best career and everything that's happened. Like there's no career that can affect more people and have such a positive impact. I just feel like serving the public and being there is it's a calling, and you have to be built for it because it's not all always easy, but it is rewarding, and it's why it's well respected. What other career do people just go into the fire service because they meet or somebody's mentored them? A lot of people have different ways that they come into the fire service, but it's always going to be a firefighter that impacted their life somehow.
Yeah.
That's what pushes them to that career.
So what started as a bet, now you're fire chief.
And now I'm the fire chief. So the irony,
It's something
yeah.
else. What, so over this course of this amazing career that you've had, what is there anything that you reflect on where you feel most proud that, you and your team have been able to accomplish together?
Well, it's funny because I think that would probably be one show itself. But I'm humbled to say that my team, especially me as being since fire chief, and you and me have know each other. I came in and became the fire chief during times of there was the brush fires, it was the hurricane. We dealt with COVID came right after. My team rising to every single moment, you know, and stepping up and still maintaining the service at a high level of professionalism. That's I think the being a pillar of strength in the community during the most difficult times is probably one of the best things that I'm proud of the North Collier Fire Rescue District.
Absolutely. Gosh, when you say it all like that, it's been a minute since I've thought about all that we have been through as a community with the back-to-back hurricanes and COVID. And it just seemed like one crisis after, and the brush fires. I remember I had a coworker at one point who had just moved to Collier County, and I said to her, I promise it's not always like this. It just
Yeah.
seemed like Zika, my gosh, it was just one thing after another.
It was one emergency after another,
Yeah.
and again during that time, normal process of we have had institutional knowledge retire, we've had
Mm.
people move on, and hard work careers that came to an end, and you have to maintain the same level of service, 365 days, 24 hours a day. It has to all work. That's what emergency services. That was the fire service. That's what North Collier Fire Rescue's committed to its public.
You said a little earlier that this career is a calling, and I can only imagine that I would absolutely agree with that. I have several amazing friends that are firefighters, and the things that you all see on a day-to-day basis is a lot. I don't know how you do it, and we're all so grateful. Um, it takes a very special person to be able to do what you all do. What do you think are some of the greatest challenges? Be it the mental aspect or be it the safety aspect. What do you think are some of the greatest challenges that fire teams face every day? Or
The greatest challenges that happen, first of all, is accepting some of the things that are we're human, accepting that mental health awareness is real, accepting in our industry that mentoring our future firefighters or our candidates or people coming into our field is our number one priority. One of the biggest things that happened through all these crises, through the hurricanes, we forgot to say storm surge, through all those things, we start thinking that it might have scared away people that wanted to be in the fire service. We even had to deal with our cancer in the fire service. Firefighters have a higher percentage of being exposed to carcinogens that may cause cancer. Now we've done our job to do better in changing our ways of now that we have education to be better, but there is a risk. This is a high risk job. It's not something that's not taken lightly. And you have your family to take care of too, but your family deals with you dealing with stuff too. So it's important that we do better and that we continue moving forward and show how important that, yes, we do adjust. There are some bad times, but the outcome and the way that we provide to the public, we need to be that pillar of strength This is how society moves forward. It's how we keep protecting paradise.
What do you guys do to support, you do see some pretty emotional things. Are there any services that are offered to firefighters to
Yes, we have
support?
services.
Yeah,
We have our debriefings. We have our services. We have even clinicians, and
yeah,
we have services that are intact. And listen, we didn't talk about that before.
yeah,
We just didn't talk about it because we dealt with it internally. We dealt with it in a moment. We talk about it now. We talk about it now, and we actually we do a lot better today than what we did yesterday. And that's how it's supposed to be. It's okay to say that we didn't do it right in the past because we didn't know.
yeah.
Now we know, and so I think that's one of the positive things that's happened. That it's out there. It's there for people to know.
Is there, and I applaud you for that because I've seen you speak openly about this topic, and I always commend you and thank you for that. Is there anything that you wish the public knew more about? If you said, God, I just wish everybody knew this, is there anything that maybe we haven't discussed today that you wish more people just knew about?
I I would say that I would want the public always to remember that the firefighters that come off those trucks are their community neighbors. It's the people that go to church with. It's the people that they see that they grew up with. But when they put on the uniform, they're providing a service that they may not go home. And that we just have to remember always, regardless of any philosophies or any political or any differences that may exist, firefighters are a key to our society. And I say that same thing with law enforcement, even though being a firefighter is cooler. I know
Plug your sheriff
I,
Ram
I,
Basket.
I love Sheriff Ramos, but hey, but the reality is that there's a calling and there is a commitment, and they don't want to even be rewarded for that. Firefighters they're not even looking for an accolade. They're looking for do the job and go home and be safe,
Yeah.
be able to make a living, provide for their family, and get on the truck the next day and then try to make a career. So it's truly a blessing to be a firefighter, and I encourage anybody, and I encourage the public to get involved and treat the firehouse like this their house.
Mm.
Like if you have any questions, call your neighborhood fire department. If not, they could call me. You could provide my number, and we could find the right. If they're not in my district, I make sure I get them to the right district and to right communication, because we talk. Fire chiefs work together. We have the County Fire Chiefs Association. We're a family. We're one big family that provides the protection while everybody's enjoying paradise and enjoying how beautiful Collier County is.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned, how people can, get more engaged. And I know you guys do so much to partner more with the community. Can you share could we close with that? What are some of the ways that North Collier Fire is engaging with the community outside of that day-to-day protection that you
Well,
provide?
we do so many
I
things,
know.
and so many things that are not even, but I will focus on specific issues. Like, we work on every single project that we could get involved in the fire service. Anything we could provide. We go to the schools. We have school visits. We have if you need to engage with us, we're there. If you have an event, all our not-for-profits and all, we're there. The fire service is always going to be open door in providing its, because reality is you never want to use us.
Right.
You never want to use the fire service. But we also do want you to know that we're there. We want you to know, because we also do an education component to this, because maybe the education you needed was some fire prevention tips, or maybe you needed to know CPR, or maybe we have the resources to provide these things that you may need. You just need to reach out. And again, if somebody doesn't know how to reach out to North Collier Fire Rescue, and I will find that answer for you.
Yeah, so you guys have a great website where people can learn a lot more about all of these
Absolutely.
trainings, community opportunities, and just ways to get more involved. I know you guys did an amazing holiday drive recently. It's
Right.
just you're incredibly integrated with the community, and
This is the
fantastic.
community that helped me Not only did this community help me in my career, but this community also helped me raise my 4 kids. I've been married, happily married for 25 plus years. This community saw a 22-year-old come here and become the fire chief, and it was because this community invested its time, and the leaders that mentored me prepared me for this. And I'm humbled about it because I always say it. I'm in sitting in the office today that I had my interview when I came in to be a firefighter, and I'm sitting there being the fire chief today. And again, I don't take that lightly. I take it. I'm humbled, but at the same time, I have the very best firefighters that could ever work for an organization work at North Collier Fire Rescue.
I agree with
I-
that. I agree, and I know that the work that you guys do every day. I know what you see every day, and it's awe-inspiring. And I just, on behalf of our community, want to thank you and your team for what you do every day. And I love that you're a local. I love that you grew up here. Your son, your children grew up here. Now your grandchildren are growing up here, and there's nothing better than that. And I know how invested you are in keeping this integrity of our community to be what it is today. So thank you for your investment that you make every day, professionally and with your volunteer time and whatnot. So, Chief Ricardo, thank you so much for your time
And thank you
today.
for having me, and congrats.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm going to be investing in the community too.
All right.
And for those listening today, I hope that you'll find a way to engage because community matters.